One of the biggest decisions you'll have to make when ordering a Tesla is whether or not you want to include full self-driving at the time of purchase. Coming in at $10,000, this upgrade will significantly impact the total cost of your car, as well as your monthly payment if you are financing it. I purchased FSD at the time of ordering my Tesla, and after a year of ownership and using these features on a daily basis, my overall conclusion might surprise you. Full self-driving is Tesla's top-of-the-line autonomy package, and when feature complete, will take the driver from point A to point B without any driver intervention. And it is the promise of level 5 autonomy that Tesla has been talking about for years, but unable to deliver on up to this point. And FSD includes several features that would otherwise not come with the car. First up is Navigate on Autopilot, and this is automatic driving from highway on-ramp to off-ramp, including interchanges and overtaking slower cars. Next is automatic lane change, and this enables the car to pass slower moving vehicles on the highway. Third is auto park, and this includes both parallel and perpendicular parking spaces. Next up is summon, and this enables your parked car to come find you anywhere in a parking lot or move out of a tight parking spot or garage. And then last is traffic light and stop sign control, and this is assisted stops and progressions through traffic controlled intersections. So those are all the features that would come with the car if you purchase full self-driving, but it's also important to understand what features are included without FSD. So if you opt not to buy FSD, there are still several autonomous features that come standard with all Tesla vehicles. Autopilot is included as a standard feature and will enable your car to steer, accelerate, and brake automatically for other vehicles and pedestrians within its lane. And another important thing to be aware of is that all Tesla vehicles come from the factory with all of the necessary hardware for full self-driving, and this is an important distinction I'll discuss momentarily. Now that we have a general understanding of the difference between full self-driving and autopilot, I want to briefly touch on my experience with FSD and pass some judgment on the effectiveness of each feature. So all of the features included with FSD are functional, but after a year of use, very few of them are practical at this point in time. Navigate on Autopilot is currently the most practical feature, but after using it on a regular basis and on several 500-mile road trips, I'm relatively underwhelmed with what the feature provides over what I would have gotten with standard Autopilot. And it's certainly convenient for the car to take interchanges, but its entrance and exit strategy from the highway is often unnatural with rapidly fluctuating speeds. And for peace of mind, I often take over at these exits in order to make sure Navigate on Autopilot's erratic performance doesn't confuse other drivers and create a potentially dangerous situation. And this is not to say that this feature is not effective or broken, but rather that I simply don't trust it when the variable of other drivers are present. Automatic lane change is another feature that is active when using Navigate on Autopilot, and if you've seen any of my previous videos, you're likely aware that I'm very critical of this feature, and I often turn Navigate on Autopilot off because the auto lane change is not courteous to other drivers. It's excellent at identifying slower moving traffic, but rather poor at judging when it's an appropriate time to change lanes. It also will initiate the turn signal for a relatively long time, maybe 7 to 10 seconds, before making a lane change. In that amount of time, other traffic has often crept into the blind spot or lane position where the car is trying to merge, causing the car to abort the lane change halfway or ride perpetually with the blinker on. Next up is Auto Park, which is a feature I use infrequently as I park in a garage and the car has never been successful at backing into it. For parallel parking, it's very effective, which is to be expected as this is a feature available with many legacy automakers. Summon is a feature purely for showing off your Tesla. In the real world, it's too slow and hesitant to be functional in a parking lot full of cars and pedestrians. Not only that, but it generally confuses other drivers when they see the car moving by itself. Eventually, this feature will be incredibly valuable, but this will only occur once FSD is capable of driving more effectively than a human, which is something Tesla says will take billions of miles of experience to achieve. Last up is stop sign and traffic control, and while this feature is a really nice step towards level 5 autonomy, it's often more work than any added driver convenience. And with this feature, the car is able to stop at stop signs and traffic lights by reading the color. The driver still has to interact with the car in order to say it's safe to proceed, unless there is a leading car at a green light, in which case the car will proceed through without any driver interaction. But at this point, why not just drive yourself? And I understand that it's important for drivers to help train the cars to be better and assist them along the way. But if we are evaluating if that is worth $10,000, I think it's fairly clear where my judgment is going to fall. Based on my experience so far with owning a Tesla Model 3, my current recommendation would be to hold off on buying full self-driving at the time of purchase. Knowing that the car comes with all the necessary hardware for FSD means down the road you can upgrade at any time, and this is where we reach the important distinction of prioritizing the hardware you want versus the software when buying a Tesla. As they stand right now, all of Tesla models are relatively expensive and most people will likely finance the purchase. With that in mind, it would make more sense to finance the cost of the actual hardware you are purchasing and leave the software for a cash upgrade later on down the road. I also recognize that the price of FSD may increase as the package gets closer to being completed, and many people might be influenced to buy now in an effort to save money later on. But I think it would be unrealistic for Tesla to raise the price of FSD much further, as it's going to significantly drive down demand. It's important to remember that all this is my opinion, and that everyone's financial situation is different and will thus dictate a different plan of attack when buying a new car. But I can tell you that in the future, when I buy another Tesla, if I do end up financing, all potential software packages will be excluded and left for a future upgrade. Before wrapping up, I do want to quickly illustrate the cost savings by upgrading to FSD later versus at the time of purchase. So looking at a 2021 long-range Model 3 without full self-driving, the purchase price would be $49,490, excluding sales tax, which will vary by state. Based on the average U.S. car loan term and interest rate, plus a down payment of $10,000, the monthly payment for this car would be $750.12, with the total interest being paid at the end of the term at $5,517. This same car with the addition of full self-driving would yield a purchase price of $59,490, a monthly cost of $940.07, and total interest being $6,914. A difference of $1,397, meaning that if you finance the cost of FSD, you're actually paying $11,397 for it over the term of the car loan. And this scenario does not take into account a larger down payment, paying extra each month, the fluctuation in price of FSD, but regardless, it does illustrate that if you finance FSD at this point in time in February of 2021, you will pay more for it in the long run. I also recognize that when you purchase FSD later on, you'll have to pay sales tax, but given that no state has a sales tax near 13%, you will still end up paying less for FSD as a cash upgrade. Overall, I believe that Tesla has a very compelling start to autonomous driving, and this video should not be interpreted as an all-out rejection of full self-driving, and my conclusions stem from my experience thus far and may change when the FSD beta expands or a public build is released. However, even if the system were to be released and work flawlessly tomorrow, I would still recommend that you wait to purchase it until you can do so on a cash basis. I would endorse this even more strongly if you were deciding between long range versus standard range with FSD. My recommendation will likely always be to prioritize hardware over software. If you have any questions about anything I covered in today's video, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you found this video useful, please be sure to hit the like button so others have an easier time finding this video. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch today, and I hope to see you in the next one.